It started like any normal day in the school holidays, but ended in horror and tragedy.
3 young girls murdered. 10 more children nearly killed. A Taylor Swift-themed dance class turned into a massacre. The killer? A teenager with a knife and no soul. What he told detectives after the arrest? You won't believe it. Chapter 1. A scene of joy. Turned to horror. It was meant to be a normal summer afternoon. A sold-out dance workshop filled with music, laughter, and friendship bracelets inspired by Taylor Swift. Instead, it became the site of one of the most horrifying child massacres in recent United Kingdom history. On July 29, 2024, in the seaside town of Southport, the studio, Heartspace, had welcomed 26 children that day. Most of them were little girls, singing along to pop songs and enjoying the kind of freedom that only childhood allows. Their instructor, Leanne Lucas, was well loved in the community and had organized the event to give the kids something joyful during the summer break. But at 11:45 a.m., that joy turned into pure terror. Yes, Axel Rudakabana arrived by taxi. He had premeditated everything. The taxi driver later testified that Axel had asked for directions to the studio, but didn't pay for the ride. His arrival was caught on the vehicle's dashcam. Calm, cold, deliberate. He climbed the stairs like someone walking into an appointment. Seconds later, with a knife in hand, Rudakabana burst into the room and began his attack. He moved with precision, systematically stabbing the children. Some were seated, some tried to run. The chaos erupted instantly. Screams filled the air. Little bodies scrambled to hide under chairs, behind curtains, anywhere they could. Elsie Stankham, 7. Baby King, 6. Alice Da Silva Aguiar, 9. These girls didn't survive. Elsie was stabbed 85 times. Bebe, 122. The injuries were described as sadistic. Even as the attack continued, Rudakabana showed no hesitation, no mercy. Dance teacher Leanne Lucas and her colleague Heidi Little fought to protect the children. At one point, Little and a child locked themselves in a bathroom, listening to the sobbing and pleading outside. He was choosing the vulnerable. He knew what he was doing, she later said. Chapter 2. The pain of the survivors. One of the most haunting accounts came from a child referred to in court as Child A. At just 7 years old, she experienced what no adult should. As she tried to escape, Rudakabana pulled her back and stabbed her repeatedly. She managed to get out again, bloodied and staggering, before collapsing in the street. Her mother later wrote, "Our daughter has not only experienced the most violent, frenzied attack on her body, but she's witnessed so much horror too." Her father, the statement said, was broken. And yet, these children are not just survivors. They are warriors. Every scar, every nightmare, every flashback, they carry them with unimaginable strength. Chapter 3. The arrest. Police arrived at 11:59 a.m., mere minutes after the attack had begun. Window cleaner Joel Verite, a passerby, ran up the stairs with officers. What they saw was unforgettable. Rudakabana stood over Bebe King's lifeless body, knife in hand. Her injuries were so horrific that even the officers were visibly shaken. Bodycam footage revealed Verite's shock as he cried out in horror. Officers tackled the teenager to the ground and disarmed him. Rudakabana didn't resist. In fact, he smirked. On his way to the police station, he bragged. "I'm glad the children are dead," he said with chilling calmness. Chapter 4. Confessions and Mind Games. Once in custody, Rudakabana's behavior was erratic. It became clear he was playing games, manipulating the system, perhaps enjoying the chaos he'd created. What truly shocked investigators and prosecutors was his lack of remorse. During questioning, he didn't cry. He didn't regret. He simply told them he wanted to cause harm, that he targeted them because they were girls, because they were vulnerable. His planning showed disturbing intent. He had even produced ricin, a deadly toxin, and possessed an Al-Qaeda training manual. While the court ruled his motive was not terrorism, it certainly showed a depth of darkness rarely seen in someone so young. Chapter 5. Did his past predict this? The defense argued that Rutacubana had once been a well-disciplined, normal child. His transition into a cold-blooded killer started around the age of 13, but there was no psychiatric report that indicated he had a diagnosable mental illness. No documented history of trauma or abuse. No warning signs, at least not the kind that reached the authorities. And that's what terrified people the most, that this wasn't a case of someone spiraling after years of mistreatment. This was evil in its rawest, most unfiltered form. Chapter 6. Justice Delivered. At Liverpool Crown Court, Mr. Justice Goose delivered a verdict that echoed the collective pain of a nation. Rutacubana was found guilty of 3 counts of murder, 10 counts of attempted murder, producing a biological toxin, and possessing terrorist material. The sentence? A minimum of 52 years. If he had been 18 at the time of the killings, he would have received a full life term. The judge said plainly, had he been able to, he would have killed every single child in that room. Even though terrorism wasn't the official charge, Justice Goose emphasized that the motivation was not the point. What mattered was the scale of the harm, the brutality, the calculated nature of the slaughter. Chapter 7. Courtroom Tears and Community Shattered. The family's statements brought the courtroom to tears. They called him pure evil, said they live in continuous pain. There were no words to describe the magnitude of the loss. How do you bury a child who died while making friendship bracelets? Leanne Lucas, the dance teacher, read her own statement in front of a packed room of grieving parents. For Alice, Elsie, Bebe, Heidi, and the surviving girls, I'm surviving for you, she said through tears. Her voice trembled, but her courage stood tall. The community of Southport, tight-knit and full of love, was devastated. In the days following the attack, tributes flooded the streets. Flowers lined the pavement outside Heart Space. Taylor Swift songs were played in memory of the children who never made it home. Even the royal family visited. Prince William and Princess Catherine met emergency responders and offered private condolences to the families. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer released a statement calling the attack an atrocity. And how could it not? 3 precious girls were stolen in a moment of unthinkable evil. Although that teen was arrested, the sweet angels, who are now real angels in heaven, receive our prayers. With a prayer that nothing like this should ever happen again. It's time to end today's episode.